Welcome to Africa in Depth. This is the first of a four-part series on the history of Kenya that focuses on the country's prehistory and the Indian Ocean trade. Did you know that Kenya is considered to be the very cradle of mankind? Yes, according to the National Museums of Kenya, Kenya holds the world's richest record of human prehistory, the longest and most complete record of human ancestry spanning over 27 million years, and a rich fossil heritage stretching back over 100 million years into the dinosaur age. But where exactly is the cradle of mankind? Well, the Garden of Eden, as it were, is located at Kobe Fora in Lake Turkana National Park of northwestern Kenya. It is here that research started in 1968, and by 1994, over 200 hominid and animal fossils had been excavated, making this the largest collection ever produced in 16 years anywhere in the world. The most famous amongst these fossils is the near complete skeleton of the 1.6 million year old Turkana boy, which was excavated by a Kenyan paleontologist, Kamoya Kimeu. Further evidence exists confirming other aspects of human evolution, such as the ability to make fire as far back as 1.8 million years ago, and human footprints dating back 1.55 million years. To date, further excavation continues in over 100 excavation sites scattered throughout Kenya. Early inhabitants and migrations. The earliest inhabitants of present-day Kenya were hunter-gatherer groups similar to the Khoisan people of southern Africa. Thereafter, linguistic evidence reveals a pattern of population migrations starting with the southern Kushites from 3000 BCE, eastern Bantus from 1000 BCE, and southern Nilotes from 700 BCE. From their homeland in the Congo River Basin, Eastern Bantus introduced innovative farming and iron forging techniques to Kenya and the rest of East Africa. On the coastal strip, cultural diffusion occurred between the mostly coastal Bantus and Arab and Indian traders between 300 and 1000 AD, through participation in the long-existing Indian Ocean trade. In the process, in Kiswahili, a Bantu language with many Arab and Persian loanwords, developed as a lingua franca for trade throughout the East African coastline and eventually in the hinterland. The Swahili and Indian Ocean trade. The prosperity of the Swahili city-states such as Mombasa, Malindi, Zanzibar, and Pemba is well recorded in Greco-Roman literature, which refer to it as Azania. In fact, the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a Greco-Roman manuscript written in the 1st century AD, refers to Azania and the Indian Ocean route. In addition, Middle Eastern, Chinese, and Indian literature from the 7th to the 14th century refer to the Swahili coast as Zanj or Zinj. Recent archaeological evidence has revealed that the city-states were at their cultural core indigenous Bantu societies, thereby overturning the long-held belief that they were primarily of Arab and Indian origin. And did you know that one of the most prominent visitors to this region had sailed all the way from China? Yes, in 1418, Chinese Admiral Zheng He from the early Ming dynasty visited Malindi on his extensive naval and diplomatic expedition in the Indian Ocean. As the emperor's envoy, the admiral presented to Malindi town gifts of gold, silver, porcelain, and silk, and in return received exotic gifts such as giraffes, zebras, ostriches, and ivory. It was reported that several ships from his large fleet sunk near Lamu Island, a fact recently confirmed by a genetic test which revealed that indeed some of the residents on the island of Lamu are of Chinese ancestry. The Portuguese and Omani Arabs. The first Europeans to appear on the East African coast were Portuguese explorers in the 15th century with the arrival of Vasco da Gama in 1498. Portugal's mission was clear: to control the lucrative Indian Ocean trade and to secure sea links between Europe and Asia through the establishment of naval bases. Consequently, Not only did the Portuguese navy gain control of key ports and shipping lanes, but they also demanded high tariffs for maritime goods in the Indian Ocean. Not surprisingly, decades of violent conflict ensued on the East African coast, particularly with the Omani Arabs, leading to the construction between 1593 and 1596 of Fort Jesus in Mombasa. The Omani Arabs ultimately prevailed and by 1730 had expelled the Portuguese, who then moved their operations further south to Mozambique. With the departure of the Portuguese, the Omani Sultan Said Said gained complete administrative control of the Swahili coast between 1807 to 1856. With the goal of consolidating his power over the city-states, the Sultan moved his capital from Muscat in Oman to Zanzibar. Gradually, Omani Arab colonization of the East African coast became so lucrative that commerce expanded exponentially under Said Said. Although Zanzibar had become the biggest slave market in the West Indian Ocean even before his rule, the trade increased dramatically. So too did trading of spices, mostly cloves, from the large plantations through the use of slave labor, thus giving Zanzibar the title of the Island of Spices. But over time, the effects of the abolition of slavery began to be felt on the Swahili coast, leading to the official abolition of the trade in 1876. In Zanzibar, however, it was not until 1897 that the Sultan officially banned it. And we now come to the end of this first episode of Kenya's rich history, from the cradle of mankind to the thriving Indian Ocean trade and encounters with the early European explorers. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll continue this fascinating journey through time with the rise of British colonial rule in Kenya. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and remember these cautionary words from the philosopher John Santayana: those who forget their history are condemned to repeat it. Karibu Kenya.